welcome to That's Dope. We have another episode with Godswill and Josh. Say what's up, Josh.
What up, guys?
but we have a special guest, our first actual guest. We have Kevin right here. What's your cosplay name?
It's KevBotCosplay.
Dope. There we go. So KevBotCosplay. He is joining us for our first podcast episode with a guest. Thank you so much. And thanks for bearing with us. This whole time we've been trying to figure out how to get another mic going, and it hasn't worked because I'm such a noob. But we're working on it, and you have been totally gracious to us, and I definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, Kevin's been sitting here just watching us put this stuff together.
Yeah,
It's been pretty entertaining. So.
Yeah, he actually helped us. Like, for a second, we were sitting here like, man, why is this thing turning on? He was like, did you put it into the
Plug
power?
it in.
Oh boy, we're gonna get good at this. You gotta do 10,000 hours, and this is part of it right here, right? We're on hour 3.
Gotta grind that XP.
Exactly right. And hour 3 right now is a little rough, but we're working on it, right?
But for people who didn't know, I just wanted to start with, Kevin is, to me, I would consider a top tier cosplayer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, like at A-Kon, he's super humble too. He's not gonna like talk about it too much, but yeah, one of the biggest reasons, well, one, he's a good friend of ours, but also he has his own clout of his own. Like where, like he recently at A-Kon, which just happened 2018, he got a judges award, won the judges awards, which is super in the Masters division. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Like where that's huge. I can't do that. I don't have the time. I don't have the skill, the talent. And here's this guy just did it. He's like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm like, dude.
I went in not expecting to win anything at all. And then someone because the judge that picked me has gone to the National Cosplay Summit, which is the biggest competition in the world for cosplay.
Dang, I'm just thinking like the world government of cosplayers, like they're all
got
sitting.
Recognized,
yeah, right?
It's daunting. It's so intimidating
Definitely
to be in a room with those people.
I can imagine.
Yeah, if y'all haven't, go check his cosplay out. KevBot, right?
Yeah, KevBotCosplay
on Instagram and everything. It's dope.
It's legit. Honestly, I mean, every time I see you, I say how dope it is, but I guess maybe at this point it's just sort of trite because I say it every time. I'm like, oh my gosh, you look so great. And he's like, oh, hey, thanks, Godswill again.
That's the thing. That's the thing about Kevin, though. He is so humble. It's borderline depression. Like, it's like I'm surprised he just doesn't take it in and enjoy it. He's just very like,
I'm just too much of a perfectionist. I finish a costume and people are like, oh my god, that's master level work, and I'm like, but I could definitely do this part better and this part better, and there's a seam there that doesn't look good.
So when did you get started into this?
I started cosplaying seriously back in the end of 2014, early 2015, so kind of towards the end of college. Yeah,
3-4 years ago. Yeah. And here you are winning awards and stuff. Yeah,
I've come a long way from like stitching stuff together and it looking terrible and using like hot glue to put seams together and stuff like that, to making full sets of armor that people are just like, wow, like blown away by.
For real. And I guess what drove you to get better into this?
I've always been like a really kind of creative, crafty kind of person. I did a lot of art when I was younger, and then when I got into high school, my parents were like, "Oh, you need to stop with all this stupid art stuff and focus on your career."
I'll show you, parents.
Pretty much. So it became my creative outlet because I would go to school and study and stuff like that and work towards my engineering career, and I'm like, I've been looking at numbers all day. I'm gonna go build some armor or some cool swords or something. And the more I got into it, the more I fell in love with it, and before I knew it, like my entire life revolved around cosplay now.
So around the time I met you is when you started cosplaying? 2014, that was like the condos for us, right?
Yeah, it was like very briefly before I met you guys, I think, was when I started.
That is insane, because let me put this on a little time frame for you guys. 2014 is, I think, when I first cosplayed. And if you can see how we differed in our talents.
I'll put a picture up to
Don't do that.
It's too late.
No pictures needed.
It's going up.
Just believe that.
So your cosplay was solid?
It was way easier to make than Kevin's cosplays are.
True.
Mine was like some cargo pants, and it's more about getting fit. Like Kevin's stuff is armor sets and.
See, but that's the cool thing about cosplay. Cosplay is different for every person. Cosplay is what you make it, so you don't have to come into cosplay thinking, "Oh, I have to make insane suits of armor or super detailed work." You can. I mean, there's people that go and buy costumes and stuff like that. Cosplay is what you make it. You get out of it what you want to, and as long as you're having a good time and enjoying yourself, that's really the most important part, because
some good wisdom right here.
We're dressing up as fictional characters. Like,
true.
It's hard to take it too serious.
Yeah, right. I mean honestly, that's what it is for me, like just having fun with it, and also getting famous and taking pictures and be like, yes, I am a god.
The recognition is nice. Yeah, when you go to a convention and someone like will pick you out of a crowd and be like, oh my God, I follow you. And I look at all your posts and stuff.
That's crazy.
It blows my mind because I'm just like, wait, you watch all my stuff? I just post the stuff because
everything.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
No, I mean, I think that's insane. We were actually talking about before we started rolling how he won the Masters, or we thought you won the Masters. I still think you won the Masters. But I mean, we were talking about the cosplay community in general, and I was asking a bunch of questions, and Kevin's very adamant about not giving me answers. But yeah, man.
I was one who was also like, hey, save it for the podcast, but you know.
Yeah, it was interesting to me because I was like, we were talking about how, you know, we're dressing up as fictional characters just for fun.
Yeah.
That's why people do it. But like, honestly, some people take it to the next level. There's like, they're making it full-time careers. You know what I mean? So it's like, I could see, here's the thing. I don't agree with all the drama, and I don't understand what all of it's coming from, but I see why it's happening. It's their career path.
True. Although me, even personally, like in the anime industry right now, hopefully still, but you know, right now, like I'm like, why is everyone beefing? You know, it's like it should be simple to me,
right?
Like where it's like, I mean, like unless you're doing bad things like stealing, right? Like, or you know, criminal activity. What's the problem? But you know, now I'm gonna see a mob right after my doors after we post this episode. Like, Godswill is important.
I think a lot of it comes from, so it used to be just kind of people dressing up for fun and stuff like that, and then as Josh was saying, with it becoming, because there's people that are professionals and literally travel the world and work with company after company or get invited to con after con to do this stuff, so it has become way more serious for people.
Competitive.
Yeah, that's the thing. The competitiveness kind of in a way builds drama sometimes. Some people may see others getting ahead of them and they're kind of stuck like in the spot.
Right.
So that could kind of lead them to bash people because they would be like, oh, well, you're just doing this and kind of riding that wave and stuff like that. But they don't look past that. Those people that are getting famous and well known and stuff like that, one, they're really hardworking, and two, crazy passionate. Like, I'm crazy passionate about it, but when I see them, like, they inspire me on a daily basis to try harder. Yeah. But these are people online are like bashing and like being so critical about them. Like, you have to look past some things and realize like how hard they're actually working to get where they are. There's a reason why they're there. They didn't just get lucky.
Exactly. I mean, I think that goes to like a bigger thing about internet culture, maybe, or something. But you know, people just not really understanding like how it is to climb the mountain of whatever it is you do. You know, like they just see the benefits.
I feel like people would rather break you down than work harder.
True.
Like it's like if Kevin's doing better cosplays than me, I can instead of just admitting that Kevin's doing better cosplays than I am, because I don't do a lot, let's be honest. But if I was in that race to the top, I could easily just break him down and discredit him and be like, well, he doesn't even have a job. He probably barely works. He's probably just at home working on cosplays all day. Like, if I was at home all day, I'd be able to do the same. Like, you see what I'm saying? Instead of just giving him the credit he deserves.
Even though he has a full-time job,
I wish I had that life,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's just, because we talked to your friend Leon.
Yeah.
Godswill met up with Leon. What's his last name?
Leon Kira,
who's also a pretty big cosplayer. That dude puts in work, man.
Yeah. I mean, hell, like, you know, like, I think, like, looking as good as, like, you look and, like, as, like, he looks and, like, everyone works, that takes work, right? And then also, like, the skill into, like, putting it in, you know? Like, I remember seeing him, like, having to do the makeup and, like, really being the character, you know? Like, really trying to embody that. You know, I see, like, just the amount of stuff that you have to carry and, like even seeing the pieces of what you have to make. It's amazing to me. I'm just like, geez, man. Like, in like this the sort of stress of being at the con, carrying all that into the con, right?
Yeah.
And then having to put all that on and go through it, you know. It's just a long day, like where you guys are like legit dying, you know?
Yeah, that kind of goes back to what Josh was saying. People see the results. They see the Instagram post. They see the videos and stuff like that. They don't see the 4 months of blood, sweat, and tears, or sometimes even sometimes even a lifetime of work. Because I mean, you have people who are in great physical shape, and that doesn't just happen overnight.
Yes.
Right.
You have to put so much time and effort into that, and then learning the skill on top of doing it. I mean, because most cosplays, I'm teaching myself something new every single time, and you have to learn it, master it, and apply it. Usually within a very short time frame, like 3 months.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like there should be more documentaries behind cosplayers because there's so much that people don't see.
Like, are there documentaries?
There's
I
some.
haven't heard,
That is
like,
interesting.
Cosplay in America kind of does some stuff like that.
I actually just met that guy recently. Yeah, like I think he's local-ish now.
I think he lives in Austin.
Yeah, like it's like he's
he lives in
Texas
Texas now.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much that people don't see that goes on behind closed doors, and I think people would really. I mean, people already appreciate cosplayers. Like every time I cosplay, people are like, "Wow, like it's so cool that you do this," and like they can see the hard work when people like wears a cosplay and stuff.
That's a good question. Like, what does cosplay mean to you, actually?
It's funny actually.
That's a hard question, right?
No, it's funny actually. Last week I did another interview and they asked me the exact same question.
Okay, yeah.
So cosplay for me. Well, no, I think that's a very important question to any cosplayer because, like I said, cosplay is what you make, and it's different for every single person. You could ask 1,000 cosplayers that question, and you'll get 1,000 different answers.
Yeah,
but for me,
man, I'm kidding.
For me, cosplay was kind of that creative outlet, but it became so much more than that. Like I said, it's become pretty much my life. I owe probably most of my happiness right now in my life to cosplay because I can come home from work and work on a costume and pour my heart and soul into it and get satisfaction out of that. And then when I travel to conventions and stuff, people admire the work that I do. And that in itself is so fulfilling. I know Josh says I'm like super humble because people will come up to me and I'll be like, there's things that need more work, and they're like blown away, and I'm just like, no, it's not that good. Like, go look at these people, look at all the amazing work that they do. Yeah. But I get so much satisfaction from that, and also traveling conventions as well. I've made friends that will be friends for a lifetime, and I don't know where it would be without them.
That's what's up,
No, I mean, I feel like this community in general, just like a lot of other communities, video game communities like Smash Bros. Or anime communities in general, it's just the fact that we all grew up with something, it's like we have this bond. Yeah. It's just not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like we all sat there that one morning and watched those animes where we see that he's playing those characters out, and it's just interesting to us. Like for some reason, it's like we want to take those pictures, even though we know it's not the real person. Where it's like, yo, check out this guy that we just found.
I think it's the reason like why we all sort of have hope, like, at least for me, you know, it's sort of like it's the reason we still have hope for a live action anime, right? Yeah. You know, like we're like maybe it can be good this time, right?
Yeah, I gave up on that a while back.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's the reason like we still talk about like Death Note. I mean, we sometimes still bring up Dragon Ball Evolution. I hope I'm not gonna get the Toei hit squad on me now. You know, but
you bring that up, and I just think of that part where he head slides across the
exactly.
Oh my god, the diffs.
Exactly, because we do want to see it. You know, like we do want to see like our heroes sort of in real life. You know, and for me, like I'm not like a cosplayer by any means. I mean, I'm a cosplayer in the very amateur sense where I'm like, this is cool. I do enjoy doing it. And I did enjoy like putting into work, but now it's just sort of like, well, there's so many other things I want to do right now. Yeah. But you know, but overall, I do enjoy embodying those people I look up to. You know, like for example, being Killmonger recently.
That was good.
That was
super
really
dope.
good.
And thank you. I mean, honestly, I have to thank Young, like one of my coworkers who made most of the stuff for me. Like it wasn't me at all. And you know, back to what you said about like people buying their costumes. Now I think I'm going to that route because I just don't have time to want to learn that. You know, I mean, I would love to, but you know,
it takes a lot, man. Not everyone.
It's a big sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like since about Dragon Con last year, my life has pretty much just become cosplay. Like I don't go out to bars anymore. I haven't
seen you at a lot of parties.
I go to parties just because I feel like I need to see my friends, or they're gonna forget that I am alive. Because you have so much time. It's the craft, like learning the craft and applying it, but also like if you're a cosplayer on the internet, managing your social media and trying to make connections, and it's a big sacrifice. People like stopped inviting me to things because they were just like, don't invite Kevin, he's working on cosplay.
I think I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, like I have heard that too. Although I think it's like, hey, listen, might as well invite him in. You know, if you can't. You know, it's not a big deal.
Actually, just recently, Bree and them didn't show up to the parties. We were at just Varghese' house, and Brianna and them didn't show because they were working on cosplay for. I guess kind of what it is. And I remember when she was going through her medical field, like you were saying, with the hard work, she was going through dental school.
Yeah, dental school.
And while doing it, it was like she was stressing out about dental stuff, but she was still on her cosplay. And she's like, I can't do this. I gotta stay home. I gotta do this. And
I mean, because you gotta look like what is most important for your time right now. You know, like especially now that we're adults, which is funny. You would have thought we would have more time that like we're not doing school and anything anymore.
No.
I don't know. At least I thought so. I thought like as a kid, like okay, I'm gonna have at least in college actually. Like I was like, okay, I'm not doing college stuff anymore. I don't have to have a part-time job. I have one job, and then that's it. I'm single, no kids, no pets even, and it's just sort of like, whoa, where'd all the time go? You know, you're so busy working and then hoping to do like 1 or 2 creative outlets, and then you know you just see people less and less, and it's funny how being an adult is now.
I did have a couple questions though, like, okay, for Kevin, because here's the thing, I've known Kevin for a while now, and I'm always confused on how did your life start off? Like, where are you coming from, Kevin? How did you even get here? Because as far as I know, you spawned in like 2014, and that's the Kevin I know.
Because I met you like at A3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I did an anime club.
Yeah, I was there when A3 started.
Exactly.
I came to like the second meeting that started it. Yeah.
So where you come from? What city? Are you from Dallas originally? How was the home life like?
So I've been in Dallas since I was in 3rd grade, so I think that's like 8 or something like that. And then just kind of went to school in Mesquite, just kind of lived like in the Dallas area. Growing up, it was very much like focused on studies. My parents were both military, so
man,
kind of a strict household.
All right.
But
it probably pays off for the cosplay though now, because like that discipline,
yeah, it does help. It well, I was always a very kind of focused, determined kid anyways. Like they would always harp on me that I needed to study, and I'm like, I'm already done with all my homework. Like, give me more homework.
Oh wow.
So that and then I played a lot of video games growing up. Like, it was study and play video games. That was my life all through high school. And I didn't start I actually really didn't have many friends. I was a very antisocial person until about my senior year of high school.
Dang.
And then from there, once I got to college, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to rewrite my life entirely. Everything that happened before this is gone. I just brand new slate. And I came into college like a wrecking train. Like, I was like, I'm going to make friends with everyone and party and live life and stuff like that, because I felt like I hadn't lived a life.
Yeah.
Right.
And just kind of went through college and did that. And then I've always been into anime.
Okay, I'm about to ask, like, have you always been in anime? Yeah.
Yeah, I used to like sneak manga home because we had in our library in elementary school, they actually had manga. They had like Fruits Basket and stuff like that. So I would check it out and sneak it home and not let my parents see it.
Boy,
and read it.
Son.
And then I would stay up late on the weekends for like when Adult Swim came on and stuff like that, and watch, because I was like a kid and watching Evangelion, like
that's hardcore
on TV.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I could not let my parents find out.
That really affected you as a kid too. That stuff it hit you hard. I wasn't ready for all those deaths. And
you know what? I think kids can handle stuff like that. At least like we handled it, right?
Yeah.
It's like an emotional thing though. Like, I feel like I wasn't emotionally mature enough to like
get it.
It hurts. Like you just be like, you're really sitting there like, man, I'm about to cry.
But I mean, yeah, true. But I mean,
I still do that with anime now, and I'm 25. So.
Right? I know, right? Like, that's the thing. I mean, like, we definitely get it a lot more now. But yeah, I mean, back then we were seeing some hardcore stuff, like where people were getting chopped up or killed or whatever, right? You know, and we handled it. At least we're not messed up. Knock on wood.
Most of us.
Yeah, right.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Actually, I was reading on this study on the mind and how most of us actually are messed up in just different ways.
True.
And different extremities or extremities. So, like, everyone who thinks that they're the normal one, there's probably something wrong with you too, and you're just not aware of it because you're the one living that life.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, we're all kind of.
As long as like we're self-aware too.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
But like the human mind is so malleable and so easily defined by different things. So
True.
Things happen to you and you're like, oh, I'm fine. But then you're like, whoa, I have daddy issues.
Yeah, I mean,
Or I lie a lot for some reason. I wonder why I do that. Or I have control problems.
That kind of comes back to your question as far as like where I kind of came up from. So in college, like, I was like living life and stuff like that, and a bunch of kind of heavy stuff happened. And I kind of just like focused on school, and it was like I was working 3 jobs at one point. So my life was like not really that great. And then I saw a bunch of cosplayers and stuff like at cons, because I would go to cons and just kind of go just to go.
Yeah, have fun. Yeah.
And then I started seeing all these cosplayers and stuff like that and see their passion and stuff. I'm just like, wow, that looks freaking awesome. I want to try that. So first made like a really shitty costume. It was absolutely terrible. Made it like in 3 days. And then I just like fell in love with it instantly. It was like just that kind of almost escape from the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I was like kind of lost at that time. I didn't know where I wanted to go in life. And then all of a sudden, it's just like this door opened. I was like, I guess I can go that way. And never looked back. I mean, it's been a great experience, and I don't regret doing it one bit. Even
What's
though,
up?
like,
Was like the recognition that like, was that something you were looking for before you started cosplaying, or?
Yeah, I mean, the recognition is nice. Like when because like when you're in college and you're trying so hard, you don't have someone sitting there being like, oh yeah, good job on that test.
Yeah, right.
Your parents are like, why is your GPA under a 3.9? I'm like, I don't know.
Right?
But when you work on something so hard and someone just immediately gives you like that attention and like admiration for all the hard work you did.
Right.
Like I tell people, whenever you wear a cosplay for the first time to a convention, you walk out there and that first person comes up to you and asks you for a picture.
Oh, it means a ton, yeah.
All of it, all those feelings that you've had just like pent up while you're working on it, just like come out and you're just like, whoa, this is it.
It means something, yeah.
And I don't think people realize like that stuff's not easy, man. It's almost like acting, because I mean, when you're really in the cosplay like community, when you're really into your cosplay too, you have to act the character out and do the photo shoots. When I first did my Ace cosplay, like I was like, I'm pretty much the same guy, and like you know,
I mean, you pretty much are Ace in a way, right?
But that was the thing. Like when people started to ask for photos, I was like,
How do I pose?
even,
what do I do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Like, I can't actually make fire. You know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to do now? And I just thought that was really interesting, because then I had to really start looking at other people. And I think it was Reed and Brianna who were like telling me, like, yo, put your hand here and do this because it's a normal pose. And I was like, okay. So I started putting it together and figuring it out. But I'm like, then I see Kevin, and Kevin's like swinging his sword around like he's about to like really go charge some dude. I'm like, holy shit.
Right, exactly. Like you look at, like, I love that type of thing, like where like you can look at a cosplayer and it's like, that guy is that character that, you know, I looked up to in a sense, you know. My first cosplay was Piccolo, and I'm just sort of like, I didn't think I could do it.
He looked like Pickle Rick.
This guy.
Savage.
I'm gonna put the picture up, and you guys can judge if I look like Pickle Rick. You know, like it meant a lot. There's a moment, a turning point for me, like where I was like, dang, this is super legit. Like when I went to like Whataburger, and a kid like was like 6 years old, like wanted a picture with me. He's like, "That's Piccolo." I'm like, "You think I'm Piccolo?" I was like, "Yeah, kid, I'm Piccolo."
I'm gonna take you away from your parents and raise you now.
Yes, you're my son now.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Another question I've always had, because like I didn't know your backstory until just now, and I still have a lot more questions about that. But so what I had told Godswill about this a while back, I was always confused. I was like, originally when I first got in the cosplay community, I didn't understand gender bending. I didn't understand any of that stuff. I'm really open to it. I was like, okay, well, let me see what these guys are doing. If we're gonna make a male tracer, that's one thing, right? But you just do the female characters. How is that? Like, what is that about? Like, I have no idea the mindset behind it. Because I'm not even the guy, like, honestly, when I play MMOs and stuff, or when I did, I'm not even the guy who makes female characters. I'm always confused why guys do that. They're like, oh, I play this chick. And I'm like, why? I'm like, I want to be a guy who looks like me. Like, you know what I mean?
And for me, like, whenever I do, like, my creative characters, sorry, it's a stupid aside, but, like, I spend, like, hours and I look in a mirror. I'm just sort of like, does that look like me? Is my nose big enough? Like, is the eyebrows right? Like, does it have that one arch? No.
I'm the same way.
Right? Yeah. It's like, is the skin tone correct?
Go ahead. I'm really curious about this.
Okay, so it all started with gender bending first, because I get really passionate about the characters that I cosplay. So I don't just cosplay something necessarily because I think it's cool. Sometimes I do, but most of it is I have some kind of deep connection with the character, or I just really like them, or they kind of help me like get through something. So they mean a lot to me. So I mean, sometimes those characters are girls. So it started out with doing gender bending. I would take a female character, redesign it for a male character. And so I was essentially a male in person, but the original character was female. And then from there, it kind of went into doing... recently, I did Astolfo from Fate Apocrypha. That's what's called a trap character. So I look very much like a girl, but I am still technically a guy. But it's funny because a lot of people think I'm a girl because I do a bunch of makeup and false lashes and stuff like that. And it's hilarious.
Yeah, I was actually at a party with him. What was it, last year? We were at whose house was it? Anthony's. And there's a weird like kind of trashy white chick in there. I'm gonna be honest, like, that's what it was. And she was just, we were playing beer pong. Yeah. And can I say that? Yeah, we can talk about alcohol.
You already cursed, right? Yeah, you can curse in this podcast, by the way. It's
okay.
Yeah, it's.
No, but like playing beer pong and stuff, and I can't remember all what happened. The conversation was a while back, but I was like, oh yeah, he cosplays or something, and he was like, I was like, I can't remember how it came up, but you showed her a picture maybe.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, you're a cross-dresser? Like, and she like seemed like confused and like kind of going down the bigotry line. And I was like, I immediately jumped in. I was like, no, he's not a cross-dresser. He's a cosplayer. I got really defensive for some reason. I was drunk. So, but he was like, nah, man, nah, that's kind of what I do.
Well,
and I was like, ooh.
It's funny because whenever I show people my cosplays and stuff like that, like even recently I've started doing full female characters where I do cross-dress and stuff. It's considered crossplay. People come up to me and they're like, Kevin, why do you do that? I showed my sister, actually. She was really confused at first. She's like, Kevin, you're kind of a... This is going to sound really conceited, and I'm sorry, but she's like, you're very much like kind of a ladies' man. Like, you have that very kind of...
I mean, it's true. I mean, I thought the same thing too. Like, I'm like, dang, Kevin.
He looks like Sanji. I told him to cosplay Sanji as I met him, and he was like, nah, I don't think so. I don't really like that character. I'm like, shut up and do it.
Oh no, I do like Sanji. It's just I have so many cosplays I have to do. I'm just like, I don't know if I can fit that in.
Dude could buy a suit today,
exactly.
be Sanji tomorrow, but he refuses to do it.
It's true. I mean, you could just draw like one
start a Patreon for that.
That's it. Yeah. That's all you need.
Start a Patreon for this man to be Sanji.
But yeah, people will ask that. They'll be like, Kevin, like you're very much like kind of ladies' man. Like you seem like women would find you attractive. Why are you dressing up as a girl? Like, is there some kind of ulterior motive? And my answer to them always confuses them. I'm just like, no, I just like the character and I'm just cosplaying a character. It's not like I want to be a girl or necessarily. I mean, it's fun doing that. It's fun wearing dresses and putting on makeup and stuff like that. But that's what it is. It's just fun. It's something I like doing.
That's legit.
That's crazy. Like, because here's the thing. If anyone's ever even thinking about it, like he's not of the other persuasion. He is a very straight man, from what I understand.
And that's another thing that confuses people too. Yeah. Like, so you're into guys? I'm like, no, I'm straight. No,
because he's saying these things. And that's the thing. It's like being open minded. Like he's saying, like he just said, quote verbatim, "It's fun wearing dresses." If I was 20 years in the past, or even 10 years in the past, I'd be like, "Yo, wait, what up?"
Right. Even
God, so you tell me this dude was gay.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know what I mean? But,
yeah, exactly. And even like I mean, like luckily, like society is getting more tolerant. You know, because definitely like sexuality doesn't determine morality at all. You know, like but we've always conflated those two, anyways. But you know, I'll never forget like at A-Kon like 4 years ago, I think. Back when it was at the Anatole. Rest in peace. Yeah, exactly. I missed Anatole. But I remember like seeing like this grown man, like he looked like a man's man, right? But he was in full Sailor Moon outfit, and he had his whole family with him. Like he had 2 children and his wife, and they weren't cosplaying. It was just him, and it looked so bizarre because like this guy like had like hairy arms and a beard, or did he have a beard? I'm not sure if he had a beard.
I think he had a beard.
Talking about. Yeah. Did he have a beard?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, but like he looked beautiful as Sailor Moon too. I was just like, he had a skirt and like he had like these big legs. And I was just sort of like, but he had his whole family with him, you know? I was just sort of like, wow, this is amazing. You know, like and that, I guess, opened my mind up. So, you know, when I saw you, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It looks really good. You honestly kill it. I think there have been a few times I even confused you as a girl. Like, I was just sort of like, wait, that's Kevin? Oh, my.
People get super confused because I'm like really tall and have skinny legs, especially when I wear a skirt or something. Like people... My friends will come up and not know it's me and check out my legs, and then they'll be like, "Damn, girl," and I'm like, "Oh, what's up, bro?" They're like, "Oh no,
not again."
Like I'm a sexist.
Nah, man, that's insane. I like, see, that's always been a thing. Like, I've always tried to figure it out what it was, and that's something I've always wondered, and I just never thought it was correct to ask. I guess was the right.
Yeah, I guess it's like how you ask and like what intention. I guess.
Yeah, I'm literally just curious. I've always been curious. I just never went to ask and be like rude.
Yeah, I mean, to like understand like how you're wanting to understand. I think that's totally fine. Anyone that puts you on blast, I think like, well, you guys need to chill out. We don't all start from the same knowledge base, but you know, definitely like there are the people who are just trying to embarrass or to prove a point or an agenda. Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, whereas it's sort of like you're not really trying to understand the other person. You're just trying to prove your own point that you know, like no one knows anything. You know, like, I mean, it's pretty cool to hear what you just said about that. Like, I've just learned something new, and I'm even thinking to myself, it's like, who would I want to dress up as a woman?
I feel like to be able to do that, honestly, it takes a lot of, what's the word? It takes
courage.
A lot of, well, courage, but it takes...
You have to be secure with yourself.
Security in yourself.
Yeah, you understand yourself more than a lot of people. I mean,
because you're opening yourself up to literally a whole nother half of your mindset ridicule. That you really don't even think of.
Exactly.
Yeah. So... Like, I remember the first time I walked out on a convention floor in heels and a skirt, like shaking, terrified, because I'm just like, do I look like a girl? Like, are people just gonna think I'm some weirdo dude that's dressed up as a girl and stuff like that? And then when people started coming up, like giving me praise and stuff like that, I was like,
imagine that shit, man. I was nervous wearing that Ace costume. That's something I would normally wear anyway.
Yeah.
I was like, that was insane to be like, to even imagine putting on heels and like doing something I've never done and putting myself in a different position like that. That's a lot.
Yeah. And one of the big things that's really been kind of heartwarming for me is people will message me and stuff and say that I've kind of inspired them to do the same thing. They've always had thoughts of doing it, but society and how it like treats it has always been them like, no, I don't want to do it because I'm scared, I'm gonna get ridiculed and stuff like that. And then they see me do it and they're like, whoa, like this guy's doing it, now I want to do it. And people message me asking me for tips on like where to buy stuff, how to do makeup and stuff like that. And it's
huge.
Yeah, for me that's just like, oh,
because you're affecting people's lives.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's a big thing. With your gift, you are actually affecting tons of people who are actually watching it and like then deciding like, you know what, I can do it too. I can maybe try that.
Oh, that's making me feel embarrassed. You say that.
Right? Like, the
so
biggest smile
like,
that he's had like the whole time. All right, which is live it up, man. I mean, it's huge because it is. I mean, hell, even you saying this now is making me think. Cause like, are there any women that I would want to cosplay? I never even really thought about that. But not saying like I just trying to be closed-minded, but like I guess like I just never thought about it, Just like I say, I never like when I do like Oblivion or like Skyrim, I always choose Redguard. I don't think about any other race. I'm not looking. I'm like, who's the black guy? Okay, cool. Right?
The orcs.
Exactly. Right. Like, okay, I got a black guy race. I'm gonna choose that. I don't care about anything else, right? And I don't know if I'm gonna really ever change. I mean, I might. Who knows, right? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, like there are some. Are there any women? Like, it's making me think in my head, like, which women characters inspire me, anyways.
Exactly, and that's the same thing for me. Like, I want to do these characters. One, it's fun dressing up as them, but two, like, they mean so much to me on a personal level. Like, I'm going to be doing Violet Evergarden, which is a very frilly female character, but her story and everything behind her character just like inspires me so much and just fell in love with her instantly. So I don't want to let the thoughts of, oh, well, she's a female and you are a male, you can't cosplay her. No, she means a lot to me, so I'm going to do it regardless of what I need to do.
Yeah, that's really important. That's really good because I don't think anyone's thought like that,
I feel like that's interesting. And I was wondering, would I do any female characters? And I was like, am I being closed-minded? That's while they were talking, I was thinking this, and I don't think I'm closed-minded, but I don't see very many female characters I care for like that.
Like honestly, that brings up a better conversation too. Like, whereas like which female characters drive? Because like whenever I watch anime, typically like they're always like the damsel in distress. I'm not looking forwards to, Like what? Like I was thinking Black Panther. Like all the women in that movie, I absolutely really adore. Like honestly, I would legit like if I ever was go bald, I would dress up as Nkoye or maybe like the Dora Milaje, like. Because they were so cool. Yeah. Super legit.
Yeah. I do like, I know my favorite Marvel character as a female is Thor, the female Thor.
Oh, yeah?
Jane Foster. I think she is so fucking cool. Like, she's way better than the normal Thor. Like, that is a cool character. But
like you're going to get some flack for that.
I don't know, man. Normal Thor is kind of like, he's got boring stories most of the time. He had like a world destroyer story.
He's almost like an anime character. He has that super tragic backstory where his parent like dies and stuff like that.
Oh, Odin. Yeah. I mean, Jane Foster was dope. She had cancer, and she was like fighting, and then as long as she's a god, as long as she has the hammer with her and stuff, the cancer stops because a god can't die from cancer. Yeah. But she just recently, I think she passed away. Dang. She passed away like 3 months ago.
Dang.
Yeah, it was a lot, but she was the coolest character. And I mean, that's the only character I could think of as a female, because most of the times I think I try to see myself in characters, and if I don't see, I was talking to my friend Helen yesterday about it. I was like, I don't really, even as a kid, I never saw things and was like, oh, that's cute. That was never my mindset. It's not like I'm trying to be like macho or anything.
I mean, that's just the way you think, which is fair. Yeah.
And that's why I was arguing with myself in my head while y'all were talking. I was like, maybe I am closed-minded. I'm just not aware of it.
I think it's fair. I mean, because I wouldn't, like, for example, like anime, right? Like, I can see like a cute penguin. I'd be like, objectively, that is a cute thing, but I don't really care. Like, I remember like one of my feelings of like, that is cute, and like legit crying with like another man, or at least, tears welling up, is when I watched Usagi drop and seeing a single dad trying to take care of his daughter and just sort of like, oh.
See, that doesn't seem cute to me. That seems like when I saw, what's that movie, Will Smith? With
Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. Yeah. Him and he's walking around with his son and they're like homeless. I didn't see cute. Like, I was like, that is like it emotionally affects me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it reminds me of my own family in a sense. And I'm just like, I'm not thinking cute though. I've never. It's like my brain doesn't go to that thought. I think it's
that's
just
fair.
maybe it's genetic and like how we just think differently, or maybe it's how we're raised.
Yeah,
I don't
nature
know.
versus nurture. Like, I mean, because yeah, usually I don't think cute like okay, and like I think like I feel like welling up, but like I think happy things always get like people overcoming burdens or things that make me emotional.
Yeah.
And in the Psyche drop, like where I was like, that's cute, and I'm about to cry. It was.
You saw you drop the anime, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I guess we don't talk about the manga because that gets weird.
Yeah.
Like what I heard, which bummed me out so badly. Cause like Usagi dropped, like this guy adopts this like 6-year-old girl, and he adopts her like into his own family. He's a single dude like who's living like he's like 27 I think or something like that. And he just adopts her, and he's like, okay, well, I gotta figure out what it means to be a dad now, and take her to kindergarten, get her clothes, and take care of her hair and all that. And apparently in the manga, it gets to this weird bent, like where like they start.
What? No. Does it?
Yeah, apparently in the manga.
Oh my god!
I know exactly because like the anime.
Like, this sounds like a heartfelt story.
Exactly, the anime was beautiful, and I was like, I would love to see more. And then
Stopped it at the good point.
Yeah, exactly. And then apparently, like
that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing happens after this.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Burn everything.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, where it's just like, no.
That man was trying to get
This
fired.
was
He didn't want to work
beautiful.
anymore.
Because like he could like apparently like there was even like a sort of romantic thing like where he meets this other single mother and it's like, yeah, get with that chick, yeah, that's gonna be great, you guys be a good family. And then
It's like that meme where he's walking with the girl and then looking back over his shoulder at the other thing.
I was like, no, don't do that with this.
No.
Anyways, that made me emotional, and that was beautiful. And like I was thinking like wolf children. Like I don't think like, oh, this is cute. I think of like, oh, the single mother like overcoming all the burdens and like like really taking care of her kids.
Okay, so I feel like we're on the same page, and so I don't feel too isolated. I felt kind of like I was like, man, I am an asshole. Like,
No.
for a second.
Like which female characters inspire you actually?
Well, for me, it's a lot of first I key in kind of on like the really admirable traits about them. Like if we take Astolfo, for instance, so he's very charismatic and very carefree, but in essence, he also lives his life exactly how he wants to, and doesn't let other people get in the way of that. He sees something that he wants to do, and regardless,
Fate Apocrypha.
yeah, Fate Apocrypha. Like he wants to save one of the homunculus, but he has to betray his own team. But in his mind, he knew that he needed to save this person. So he pretty much was like, no, I'm not going to support my team, and I'm going to do this because that's what I want to do. And I found that very admirable. Like even in his clothing choice. In one of the first episodes where he shows up, someone's like, why do you dress like a girl? And he's like, oh, I just like cute things. And I wear cute things because I like cute things. And that's it.
It's just a mindset.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's totally legit. That's one of my favorite things about anime as a whole, and I think that like I have to credit anime for like a lot of like even if I wasn't working here, like it's just sort of like my mindset of seeing like the sort of rebel of sorts,
Yeah.
Like I think Gurren Lagann constantly. One Piece for sure, like all these people who are just going to their own beat and just sort of like not letting people dictate to them this is how you gotta do things,
And that's another thing too. Like a lot of people see anime as like, oh, it's just cartoons and stuff like that. And whenever I get really triggered when people say that, because I'll just hit them with so much knowledge. Like, no, like anime is literally the most expressive and
medium.
most fulfilled media in the entire world. And people are like, whoa, that's saying a lot. I'm like, how much anime have you watched? Because I feel like me as a person, I've grown so much from the anime that I've watched.
I have to agree, because I would think to myself, like, why anime versus any other medium, because like in fact, actually, like one of my coworkers, like a few months ago, video games was my first love, and I still love video games, but no video game has made me cry or like really that emotional. Like I thought, like there's been emotional parts, but like nothing that has like gotten me like that. Movies is rare. Like movies, like real life Western movies or whatever type of movie. Like I don't feel that much. I enjoy them, but I don't really. It doesn't take me further. Books, TV shows, every now and then, right?
Yeah.
But anime though. Good anime like has like really got me.
I think it's how expressive it is. So with movies, it's a big bill. There's a lot of money that goes into making a movie. You don't just make a movie. You have to be a person. You have to have an idea. Like people have to know who you are.
Yeah.
You have to make the whole pilot and everything, send it out. You make a movie. And it's cool. It's good. It's usually I've cried. Well, okay, I don't really cry almost ever, but I felt very emotional during different movies. Pursuit of Happiness being one of them.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
And then I have anime, which the way they draw it and the stylized drawings and how expressive they are when they get angry or when you start seeing the sadness, and you can see when the characters they feel hopeless and their face just kind of falls down.
Yeah.
It gets real long and it turns kind of pale and you can see the helplessness. It's like extremes for everything. You're like, Jesus Christ, like it's about to get so bad.
Yeah.
Well,
And they don't have to actually cut people's because it doesn't take money. When you want to kill a character off, a character dies, and nothing's really actually changed in the real world. As far as in a movie or in a TV show, there's a person working. You can't just cut characters out because then what?
Well, and the thing with anime is, it's so detached from the real world. I actually wrote a research paper about this in college.
Nice.
It's funny that you
Go
brought this
ahead,
up.
sir. Go ahead.
So anime itself is so detached from real world because it is, in essence, animation, a cartoon, as some people would say. But in being an animation, that's what separates it from real life. You don't look at an anime character and think, oh, this is a real person. You know that it's fictional, but in doing so, having you pull away from that kind of attachment to the world makes you focus on the story development, the character development, the emotions, how the characters feel and stuff like that. Because, I kind of want to bring up a topic, but I feel like it's going to be a spoiler, but...
Of what show?
Gurren Lagann.
Oh, that's great. Nah, I mean, it will just say spoiler alert, and I'll...
Okay,
I'll
spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Fast forward 5 minutes.
Okay, so you're 10 episodes in, and you've been following Kamina and Simone, and you think Kamina's just like the most badass character.
You think he's the main
like,
character.
He's like the dude, and then you get in a big fight, and then they just kill him, and you just like, what? And the emotions that you see on that screen, and there's not a single word that happens after he dies until the end of the episode.
Man.
And you can just feel the weight and the heaviness. And you hardly ever feel that in something that's attached to the real world. But with it being so detached, you can focus on the emotions and how that person feels. Like when he died, I pretty much felt like how Simon did. I was just on the floor, no, how?
Yeah. And also for me, when I watched that, I was thinking he'll come back, right? He'll come back. I've seen other shows
They'll wish him back with the Dragon Balls or something, right? Yeah.
Oh, man, I love that moment. So for me personally, I knew Kamina wasn't the main character.
Yeah.
Just because I liked him, and none of my characters I choose ever live. I've come to accept I think the one that's ever gotten away is Yusuke. No one's ever actually lived through the whole plot.
Rest in peace, Orga.
Oh.
Bro, no,
Right.
I'm done. I'm gonna leave.
All right.
I can't do this anymore.
Oh, man.
That was the most. That's for me. If you haven't watched IBO or Iron Blooded Orphans,
Spoiler also for that.
Yeah, that's spoiler.
go watch that. Go watch that and enjoy yourself.
Oh.
That's it. You're gonna be like, well, it's kind of slow, maybe, but no. Season 2 is something insane.
See, but it's so cool to see that, to see you connect with such a character, and he's just a 2D drawn character in some world that doesn't exist, but you connect with him so much on such a passionate level. Your comic heroes and stuff like that, you can kind of get that. But I feel like people with anime become so much more passionate about the characters.
They do it differently. Because, I mean, we've seen the death of Superman. We've seen the death of Batman. But, they always come back. They're not, I feel like Western world somehow, we're not brave enough to build up these people.
They make iconic characters and they can't kill.
Yeah, they can't. I mean, you can't kill the Joker at this point. You can't kill any of these people. I mean, even Infinity War,
they're all coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Most of them, if not all of them, are going to be coming back.
Because you're not gonna kill Spider-Man off and not make more Spider-Man movies.
You're right.
That's it, guys. He died in Infinity War. You didn't know that? No.
Right.
I know
bringing them all
I know
back.
2 characters that are probably going to die.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested. Especially sorry if that was
if it's
a spoiler.
Read the
Hawkeye or
comics.
All right. Yeah, because I'm really interested to see what's going to happen, but what they're going to do for this movie, since it did differ from the comics. But at the same time, anime has been brave to kill off people or to make people totally the bad. I mean, I think Berserk, right? I mean, so many people just die left and right.
Top 10 anime portrayals.
Yo, that was a feel.
Yeah.
That one hit me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, for me, we're talking about the views and what you see. Some people see cute things, some people, it's what you respect and how you different traits that you're just looking for as a person. Friendship, brotherhood and stuff, is my big one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I resonate with Iron Blooded Orphan so much. And I liked Ace because his relationship to Luffy. I like the brotherhood type thing. The Berserk stuff. when that happened, I remember being like, yo, like, I had to stop watching. That was the first time I actually read a manga. Because I don't read manga ever.
Yeah.
I'm a dub guy. Like, I do both of those. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm
Hey, you just watched anime, yeah.
yeah. And then I went and I was like, I can't live like this. Like, I can't live knowing that's how this anime ends.
You're right.
And I went on the internet. It was like, what chapter was I on? And I just started looking through it. I was like, until I can find out everyone's okay.
Yeah.
At least.
Well,
and no, they're not okay.
Right? Yeah, like no one's okay, but you know, they're making it. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, whereas like you know, it's only recent in our culture that, you know, Game of Thrones is like the one that everyone compares of like, okay, they're willing to kill off a person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit Breaking Bad, but you know, it hasn't been up until recently in the Western culture that media has been willing to kill off people, and even then, you know, like not like people are somewhat safe.
Wolverine just came back in the comics.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if y'all knew that, but like,
No.
Oh, I didn't.
he was dead for a little bit. He's back again.
I mean,
like, we all knew that was going to happen, though. Like, that's how it's gotten.
It's like you can't. It's like they've been so afraid of killing off these people, but it makes them that much more impactful, you know. And even like slice of life shows, like where people don't necessarily die, you know.
Oh, those sometimes hit harder.
They hit hard.
Deaths, like,
Because it can be
Your
so
Lie in
relatable.
April.
Yeah, like I've been meaning to watch that.
Your Lie in April, like when you get to the last episode, you just have to like, once you finish that last episode, you kind of just have to turn everything off, turn the lights off in your room, kind of get in bed, stare at the ceiling, just kind of think about life, because it's so impactful. And you wouldn't think, like, when you tell people, oh, I watched this anime this weekend and cried, people are like, what is
are you
wrong
talking
with you?
about,
You
huh?
need to get a life.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Like, no, you need to watch anime.
Yeah.
I was at my house recently, and I had one of my friends had a chick come over, and I didn't know this girl almost at all. I was watching, one of my roommates was watching Cowboy Bebop, and he was like, oh, no, we'll start it over if you want to jump in with us. So she jumps on the chair with me, and or the couch, and we just started talking about it. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to start you at episode 1. We started watching Cowboy Bebop episode 1, and it was the one with the red eye.
Yeah.
And the drug, and she was like, this reminds me of like a movie I've seen. I was like a Tarantino film. And she's like, yeah. She's like, it seems like these are small Tarantino films. I was like, that's because they are. That's how good they are. Like, Cowboy Bebop, each episode's not, they are linked together because there's an overarching story, but each episode's like its own little mini movie that you can definitely get feels for each one. I don't know if y'all remember the episode with the blind girl with the brother.
Yeah.
In Jupiter. Jesus Christ, man. Like,
Man.
that was a lot. As a kid,
Like, as a kid, it was cool.
That was a lot.
Like I remember as a kid, like watching the episode and just seriously seeing Spike just like stare down a guy like trying to shoot him. Remember, like a kid?
Yeah.
And then he's just badass, just like not even moving a second. They're like in like, you know, one bullet like grazes his cheek and he's just like, I don't care. And he just shoots a kid like with one bullet. I was just like, that was so cool. But then watching as an adult, you see like all the different aspects of it, and it's just sort of like, dang, this is a lot harder than yeah, like, and like it's just amazing. Like this show is like 20 plus years now.
I mean, you get that with one show, and then you think about there's thousands of shows out there, so there's so much for you to just dive into and like just become passionate about. And that's why, back to the cosplay stuff, like that's why people put so much time and effort into their cosplays and stuff,
Because there is so much passion in it.
yeah, it's not just, oh, I see this character, I think it's cool, or I want to cosplay this character and get famous.
Yeah.
It's, no, I have some attachment or just am in love with this character and want to do it. And I mean, you wouldn't normally think someone would spend 6 months of their life building a suit of armor and stuff like that if they didn't like that character that much.
True.
So
I mean, that's legit, and also that's why like it is so awesome to see like what people do in the cosplay community, like, and also I guess is why it's sort of a bummer like when people are going at each other's throats about it. I'm just sort of like, really,
It's weird that we all grew up like in the same thing, but now we're fighting or something. It's basically what religion did. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you know,
I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but it's like we all generally believed in the same thing. Like, and then now we have 8 different sects of Christianity. And they were like, well, we don't take communion, but we do baptisms. But you know, like, I'm like, come on, guys, like.
it's just a lot of passion that's just flying around, and sometimes people just get either jealous or salty, or they just want to put people down because they see them having a good time. Like I've known people legitimately that wanted to put someone down just because they were like, wow, look at that person, they're having so much fun. They're doing all this stuff that I want to do, but I can't do it, so I'm gonna make them feel terrible. And that's just like,
dethrone them.
why would you do that?
like spend so much time and effort.
Is too hard. Because trying
they spend
to
effort, trying to
just take them down.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the crab mentality.
Everyone has hardships in life and stuff like that. It's just like, why don't you focus on your own happiness and well-being, instead of trying to like take them not as a bad image, take them as an inspiration.
Yeah.
Look at what they do and be like, wow, I want to either do that or pour myself into something
else. Yeah,
different.
exactly.
All right,
like humanity would be so much better if it is, but then again, we're all different.
I need to write that down on Kevin's tombstone. When he dies, like, we got to write that down.
Who's saying that he's gonna die first?
Hey, man, I know I'm a healthy man. I'm not. I'm not playing. You never know. You never know. I mean, hopefully we're all going for a while.
The guy who keeps eating all the candy in his office, right? Didn't you just buy some
Look
chips?
at this physique.
Oh,
I was about to say, look at that fighter over here.
I know, right? And also, you're a fighter, so knock on wood, but still.
Hey, don't put that on me, guys. I'm trying to live a long life. If I go, okay.
Yeah.
But we're not here talking about that.
You, right? I'm a jerk. But overall, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, putting your passion into something beautiful like this is very inspirational. And it makes me interested too. Like, how can I do more to myself? You know? Hell, in fact, I'm hoping like this coming con that I finally get some free time at Anime Fest. I am hoping to do some cosplays there, you know, like to like legit get back into the saddle and see what I can do. And just see people recognize it, or if I can have a good time, and I'm proud of myself for what I did, you know?
Yeah, I encourage people to not necessarily get into the level of cosplay that I do, because it's kind of intense. But to at least try cosplay once and see how you like it. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But it's definitely an experience that can be very eye-opening. And like, you never know. You may just fall in love with it. Maybe you will turn out like me.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? But, I mean, anyone that wants to get into cosplay, that's one thing that I kind of strive to do in the community, is to help other people cosplay. Because unfortunately, a lot of cosplayers either get too busy with their own stuff, or they just don't have the ability to focus on other people. So I try to help the community out either through prop commissions, or I even have people that come over to my house and I will teach them how to do prop making and armor making and stuff like that. My door's always open to people. Nice. And I want to give back to the community that's given a lot to me. I don't just want to like leave them behind. So it's not like I just hang out with famous people and stuff. I make it a point to try and help cosplayers do the things they want to do, or at least encourage them, because a lot of people think, oh, I want to do this amazing cosplay, and I tell them all the time, do it. It may not be perfect, or it may not look like a professional, but you're not a professional. Like, if you want to do it, do it. If you're that passionate about it, like, do it. And as you're doing it, either look for help. Other people will help you. It's not like you're on your own. It's a community. Sure. And that's what I try to make it, and make sure everyone remembers it's a community. It's not just a bunch of people hanging out. We are a community. We look out for each other. And
is there a way to, because like what he just said sounds amazing to me. I really appreciate it. It shows that we are getting a little bit more mature as we're getting older. We're looking to like the greater good of the people around us instead of just ourselves, which I really admire. Now my thing is like, is there a way that you can make a business out of this? And I don't mean this in the sense like, is there a way you can get rich? I mean like, is there a way that you could like, I don't know, get people together and have like your own little cosplay, like, what's a good way to explain it? Like getting people together to make money for other people, or like you can make props for other people and you have your own team, and that could be your full-time job. Is that like a possibility? Or?
Yeah, so to be a professional in the cosplay industry or community, there's kind of a couple different ways you can do it. So one thing is prop making. There are actual prop making shops. There's like Henchman Studios and stuff like that. They have a full team there. Volpin Props, stuff like that. They make props for commissions, but a lot of them are starting to work with game companies and stuff like that. Like Henchman Studios made the Doomfist and Moira cosplays that they showed at BlizzCon.
Wow.
So they partnered with them to do that. So they're actually working not only in the cosplay industry, but in the gaming industry and stuff like that. And some of them even work with game companies to make like live action trailers and stuff like that. So that's one route you can go, opening your own prop shop and being able to have a full team and crank out stuff like that. Then you have individual prop makers that take commissions, usually through like Etsy or some online store that they have. So some people do that as a full-time job. That's kind of hard to manage sometimes, because sometimes you have to put out a lot of work or put a lot of time into it and almost kind of kill yourself to make money. And then you have people that are kind of like the online social media images, the ones that are always guesting at conventions and stuff like that. The influencers, So
that's what people mostly think about, influencers.
Exactly. Those are the people that you see at the forefront, because whenever you go to convention, you see this line of cosplayers, and that's when you think, well, these are the cosplayers. So those people, they get invited to cons and stuff like that, either by the cons themselves or people will write in telling them to bring them. And they can get paid sometimes they don't, just kind of depends on the convention. And then from there, they can work with either game companies to do events and stuff like that. I mean, they're a public face, and that public face can be applied to different things. And that becomes their lifestyle. Like Leon Kiro, he works with different game companies and animation studios and stuff like that, and he travels the entire world. That's his like full-time thing. So that's another thing you can do. Another thing is to kind of do the whole Patreon route, where you can have money from people coming in on a monthly basis to support you making your cosplays and stuff like that. And you kind of reward them either through like sending out rewards and stuff like that, or you just show your cosplays through them. People want to give you money because they want to see your stuff, which is crazy because I would never think that, wow, there's people out there that really want to see my stuff and will
like benefactors,
literally pay for me to do it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a crazy, it's still sort of crazy to me, but hey, I mean, if you're interested in that, that's great.
Twitch.
It's great. Like, I'm happy, yeah.
And I mean, I feel like when he was talking about Leon Kiro. Kiro, is that how you say it?
Kiro, yeah.
Kiro. They're talking about how he has those deals with Square Enix or however that was. I remember you went to E3 and were hanging out with him the whole time. And there's a lot of business or gaming companies that were just using him as their, their mannequin, essentially walking, talking mannequin. And I thought that was cool. Now, I guess that's probably where a lot of that drama comes from, because like other people want to be in that position, and like we were saying earlier, like they're just gonna. Like, if someone else is trying to do Final Fantasy cosplays, they want to be that guy. They want to be the one that gets called.
I mean, you got to think about it. You've got literally hundreds of thousands of cosplayers in the world, and not everyone can be the Leon Kiro or the Jessica Nigri. And it's not like they just got there. They put in the time and work.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's me with the cosplayers I hang out with and stuff like that. I kind of know the inside of what they do. And I mean, there's points to where they push themselves so hard to the point where they're almost in the hospital. Like, it's crazy the amount of work they do, and no one ever sees that. And I think that's why a lot of people get jealous, because they just think that they don't do anything. They think that everything is handed to them on a golden platter. No, like, they have to work for it. And
it's true. I mean, it's the truth right there. Like, I mean, and I see that for like everything, like not even just cosplay for sure, but just everything. I mean, people think like, oh, how do I get my job, or like, oh, you get to have so much fun in your job. Yes, I do get to have a lot of fun in my job, but at the same time, it is quite a bit of staying overtime at night, to make sure that like something is going to go out on time, or to make sure that so and so is going to be happy about something.
You usually hear like 2 hours after everyone leaves.
Yeah, true.
When I hit him up to go do something, he's like, oh, I'm still at work. And it's like they close at 6, he's still here at 8.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I mean, because like it's a job. Like you're saying, it's a job. Even though he has fun and everyone wants the coveted Funimation job.
Yeah, but
you'll get fired real quick.
Can people handle like the like also like, okay, we're about to work too, like we're about to go to Anime Expo, or I shouldn't date it like that, screw it doesn't matter. But like, yeah, going to Anime Expo, right? And people will see like, oh yeah, you get to talk at panels and you get to go to the parties, yes. But also like you don't see like the hauling the boxes behind the scenes.
Yeah, they just focus on the fun stuff.
Exactly. You don't see like selling the DVDs and like just talking, standing for hours on end, and trying to get to everybody and trying to take pictures and trying to help out this guest and trying to so many aspects, and being hungry. I mean, I need to go take a break or whatever, but got to go do this, make sure this works out. And for you, it's like, yeah, people don't see like the hours and the blood, sweat, and tears, and like the,
or even wearing a cosplay at a convention.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have a handler or anything like that, you're in a full suit of armor and you are literally useless.
Exactly. Hoping to carry a bag or something like that, right? You probably can't see through a lot of your stuff, right?
Yeah, it's tough at times.
Yeah, like it's a lot, and like people think that they can do all that, but can't. And hey, it's not your fault if you can't, but at the same time, it's like at least be self-aware to not criticize people like that. It's like there's a lot that goes into it. So yeah, I find a lot of respect in it. Yeah. Also, what's been your favorite cosplay you've done?
It's kind of hard.
I know, right? I should have prepped you beforehand. Hey.
Well, okay, it's probably my Ostafo cosplay that I did from Fate Apocrypha, because I was going through like a really tough time. I'd just gone through a breakup and was dealing with a lot of emotions and thoughts, and I just got promoted at work and stuff, so I was like burnt out at work, and I actually had to keep pushing it back because I was supposed to debut it at Dragon Con last year, but I pushed it back because it wasn't done to the point that I wanted it, and then I pushed it back it was A-Fest, Dragon Con, and then I think it was just those 2 cons. I pushed it back past those 2 cons because it just wasn't where I wanted it to be.
Right.
And then in total, it ended up being about like 5 months of work when it should have only been about 3. But just with work and stress and a bunch of stupid stuff, I ended up being about 5 months. But at the end of those 5 months, when I wore it for the first time, I debuted at IkiCon down in Austin. I finished it the night before I wore it.
Wow.
And I hadn't tried anything on yet. So the day I was going to wear it was the first time everything was on.
Wow.
So I put everything on, and like the second I stepped in front of the mirror to look at myself, I literally broke down in tears because like so much just held inside and built up over those 5 months, and then you finally see everything together, and when it looks perfect exactly how you want it to look, it's hard to hold that in. Like
it could have went far left.
Yeah.
Like you had one measurement off and been like, oh shit.
Like you can't beat that feeling. Like it's, I cried so much, I had to like redo my makeup before I can even go to the con floor. And then after that, like going down to the convention and like all the praise and people asking for pictures and stuff like that. It's that for me, not necessarily the costume, but everything that was involved with. I love that costume. It's great. It's really fun to wear. But on top of the costume, everything that was involved around all the emotions and everything in my life, and because I poured so much of myself into it. My most recent cosplay that I did, the one that I got the award at ACON, that was a Mordred Alter from Photographer as well. That one was a big accomplishment for me because I hadn't done a full set of armor in like a year and a half, 2 years. So I'd done another full set and was not happy with it at all. And I'd always told myself, one day you're gonna like actually do a set of armor you're gonna be happy with. And then the crazy thing about this was there was no official design for it. I had one reference image to work off of, and that was it.
Wow. So
I had to design it pretty much from the ground up after not making full set of armor in like 2 years. And that, like, wearing that at ACON and getting the praise from that, and then getting up on stage. That was also the first time I competed in a year and a half as well, because I had to give up competitions last year. So being able to get up on stage again in a costume that I'd challenged myself and poured myself so much into, and then to win an award, like I was shaking when I got up on stage. I was like, hold it together, you gotta walk across stage and walk back. And then as soon as I got off stage, I had to like sit down. I was just like, it's there's so many emotions involved in the cosplays that I do that, like, the results that you get, like going to a competition, winning an award, getting to do shoots and videos and people praising you and stuff like that. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But that's why that's what keeps me coming back for more.
So tell me, because like I was always under the impression. Oh my God, my words! I was always under the impression that you were a pretty emotional guy in general. So like, because like just how you're explaining your cosplays and how you feel about it all the time, which I think is like amazing because you put so much work into it. I get it. Like I can see why people would get so into it. Like it's your life almost. So how does that affect your relationships? Like how do you deal with relationships? Because being that emotionally charged as an individual, I don't know if you're okay with talking about that, but like,
are we talking about like friendships or like relationships with significant others?
Like significant others, like when you're with the women you're dating or whatever. How does that kind of carry? Does that emotion carry over into those, or is it usually pretty good? Is there a lot of like, hey, I need to go work on my cosplay? Can you?
Okay, so anyone who's a cosplayer knows that being in a relationship as a cosplayer is tough because it's almost like dating 3 people.
Yeah.
So if you're a cosplayer, especially if you have 2 people that are cosplayers in a relationship, like my last relationship was that. So you have 2 people stressing out about cosplays and then stressing out when you get to conventions. And there's just a lot of stress there. And like you said, I'm a very emotional person, so cosplay is kind of like the most important thing to me. I know that's kind of crude to say in regards to a relationship, but cosplay is so important to me. And it's not that relationships get in the way, it's just that sometimes my passion is very solely directed towards that. Right. And that can kind of cause a distance.
Which I think is fair. I mean, people can be devoted to work, and that's what's up for you, you know? Like,
yeah, like the emotions that I have attached to cosplay, like if something starts to get in the way of that, or starts to pull away from that, I can get kind of defensive about it. I think that's kind of why relationships haven't really worked out for me, especially since I started cosplay. It's a lot. Like you're pouring so much of yourself into something else that when someone else comes along, sometimes it's a little hard, I guess.
Because you don't want to fall off track. You want to stay on your, because you're going somewhere with this. You're actually doing pretty well. Even if you don't go anywhere with it, you have an idea in your head of where you want to be.
Yeah.
And okay, so the fighting thing for me and cosplay for you, it seems like it's the same exact thing.
Exactly. It's your passion.
Yeah, it's everything to me. So it's just like, I know I was asked to go on a state fair trip last year. This girl hit me up and she was like, oh, we're going to the state fair. And I was at practice in Deep Ellum. And I was like, well, I'm still throwing kicks in the bag. And she's like, oh, just throw kicks, like go in early tomorrow. I'm like, no. I'm like, you can wait in the parking lot if you like. That's okay. I wasn't trying to be rude. But I was like, if you want to wait in the parking lot for a little bit, like give me like 15 more minutes. Like I gotta keep throwing these. Like, and she already kind of put herself in a lower position in my head because she just tried to pull away from.
Yeah, she's taking you away from what your passion is.
And that seems most destructive to relationships.
Yeah.
Because exactly, I want them to be understanding and just give me this.
Yeah.
It's almost like you are dating. In other words, like I need my time with this.
And that's the thing with relationships. Like if you're like that, you kind of just have to find that person who's kind of willing to accept it, but will also love you for that.
Yeah.
And like, I honestly think anyone pursuing their passion is the most attractive that person could be, whether they're a model or just kind of like an average person. If someone is passionate about something, they get this glow in their eye that I think could attract anyone to them. And that's what my advice to people. Like, don't focus on chasing girls, going to bars and stuff like that. Find your passion and follow that, and people will naturally be attracted to you.
You need to write a book, Kevin. It's time.
All right.
Oh,
Quotables.
that book would be way too long. I got too much emotions, man.
You got focus on his cosplay, man, right?
True.
That too, yeah.
Right. But hey, honestly, seriously, thanks for coming to this podcast. Like, this has
thanks
been
for having me.
Super cool, like having you talk about all these things, and I mean, it's been inspiring. I'm thinking like, is there a woman cosplayer, a woman that I want to cosplay myself? Right now can't really think of too many, but like I'm look like they're out there.
I just encourage you to do whatever characters that you're passionate about.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking about like what, like usually whenever I cosplay, it's just sort of like, okay, this guy has inspired me a lot, and maybe I might not be able to do this person, but I do like this person, what this person embodies. So yeah, and they usually somewhat look like me, but hey, it works out, right?
The good thing about cosplay is you can make yourself look like someone that doesn't look like you at all.
True. Yeah, true. Like that's a great point, and I'm definitely looking at that. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities out there, and I'm really excited. And yeah, I mean, hell, just you being on this podcast right now, like hopefully it inspires some other people, and that's what we're hoping to do with this podcast.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to be the last guest, but you were definitely the first.
Yeah, and I hope to have you back on too, actually.
Anytime.
Yeah, like definitely, like let's talk about anime as a whole. Like that was inspirational right here. Like I feel it. I feel
good about it, man, honestly. I got a lot of my questions answered. I feel like as a friend, we're closer now.
I'd hope so, right?
Because
screw those guys, right?
Yeah, man. No, like he doesn't get to come to a lot of parties. He's always busy doing his cosplays. So I got to figure out where he's coming from. I didn't know anything about the military lifestyle. That makes complete sense. His IQ sounds to be higher than mine. 3.9 is kind of absurd.
Right.
I didn't have a 3.9.
Oh, okay.
No, my parents wanted it to be a 3.9.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I had a nice
like
3.4.
Hey,
I skimmed
in engineering
over,
too, man. That's hard.
When I talked to, I remember I never did my homework in high school, and I was passing all my classes.
Oh wow!
And I remember at one point they were talking to me about college, and they were like, "So, go talk." They're telling all the kids, like, it was our senior year. They're like, "I want to go talk to your what are they called? The
advisors."
Counselors and advisors, and see where you guys are trying to go with your grade points." And I was like, "I don't even know what my grade point is." Like, literally, all I did was do sports. I didn't care about any of that. Like, I just did just enough work to get by on all my classes, and I didn't do my homework almost ever. I think I did it maybe 3 times ever. And by the time I checked, she was like, "Yeah, you're right over the halfway mark in your class." I was like, "Well, I guess I could go to college, right?" It was like we're like a high 2. Bro, I was like, man, and they're like, I was like, is there any time to change? Like, probably not.
Oh wow, this guy. I'm not surprised though, but hey, I mean that's good though. Like you did it. You're doing what you like.
Yeah, I'm happy.
And also, I can say everyone that's here is doing what they like, which is really good. Like this is the type of thing that attracts me. Like whatever friend group and romance for sure. Like I can't do someone who doesn't have their own passion.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm just gonna be too like a lot of people who come to me if you don't care about anything or do anything, you just are there. That turns me off.
He was actually talking about that recently. I can't remember, we were walking to a party recently, and he was saying, we were talking about it outside, where like when people don't have like you were saying, a passion or something like that, like when you just can't see it, you don't see them really doing anything,
They don't stand out in the crowd.
Yeah, it kind of makes you not really care to hang out with them too much. Not that they're like they're worth less or anything like that.
Yeah, everyone like has worth, but at the same time, it's like I think of us like going to the stratosphere, like in some rocket ship or whatever, right? And people who are on the rocket ship hopefully are pulling their own weights, or maybe even on their own rocket ship, and we're just sort of going parallel.
You want to hang out with people who are definitely trying to push and row the boat. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Not just people who want to be on the boat because they see like how cool the boat is, or like like all the accolades it's got.
Because like I don't have to explain myself. If I were to, it's one of those things where it's like if I lose a fight, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing as if you were to lose. Like if your cosplay competition didn't go the way you want to, or something fell apart. Like I can kind of feel where you're coming from, because we're both on the same technical ship.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we're both putting a bunch into what we believe is what we want to do, and when it doesn't work out, like
it's heartbreaking.
and there's not much you can say.
No.
But we both get it. We both just understand each other in that sense. So I like people who have that ambition. And if it doesn't work out, man, I'm here. And if it does work out, then we all celebrate together.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. So, because like when he's posting his pictures on Instagram, I'm hyped. Like I'm liking all that shit.
I'm glad,
Like,
and I see it now, and also I see like all the friends like. And as all of us, like, hopefully boosting each other up so that we can get to like that further spot, because, and that's I think the biggest thing for anime for me is like most of these anime are people trying to get to better spots, even though they might live in boring settings or whatever. It might be slice of life where it is boring and they're just trying to do the best for themselves, or it might be these explosive shonen type shows like where some loser kid becomes the best of all time, right? But that's what I got, like where like it inspires me, like to take on the stars, like, and to go places that you didn't think were possible,
Yeah.
And it's really inspirational to see other people who took that and are doing it for their own selves too. So yeah.
feel good about this one.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming over, Kev.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. And definitely hope to have you back on soon. Like, we're going to put this on. We'll let you know. Finally, these podcast episodes are going to happen. Yeah, but plug yourself one more time.
Yeah,
like,
what was that Instagram?
So Instagram is KevBotCosplay.
Cool.
I'm working on a Facebook page right now. Decided to remake it, but it'll be under the same name.
Okay, cool. Can't wait for that. And
Facebook and Instagram. Cool.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Josh, for coming through. Thank you guys for bearing with me as I tried to figure out how to do a third mic and couldn't, and for coming late like I always do. Well, I appreciate y'all. And yeah, also to the fans who listened all the way, appreciate y'all. You guys are great. Please continue to share this stuff and let people know about what we're doing, and hopefully we can have you on. Who knows? Like, we always like to hear interesting stories. Let us know, like, if this touched you. Maybe you want to cosplay a girl, or cosplay at all, Maybe you want to cosplay something outside of what you thought was possible, Go to a convention, do something new with your life. Hopefully this episode, it inspired me. It makes me want to do a lot of things now, so.
He sounds inspired. He keeps talking, man.
Yeah.
he's telling me to wrap it up, and now he's just like, oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm closing out. Anyways, anything you want to say, Josh?
Nah, man, I love you guys, and I appreciate Kev. Much love to you too, man, for coming out here and expressing yourself like that over the mic. I am hype. I'm good. I feel like someone understands me. One more person in the world understands what we're going through.
There we go.
And I think it's great.
Good.
It's like building that family.
There we go. We're making our way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it. Everyone stay dope. Peace.